Hello, friends. So today's topic is EGO, ego. And as Dr. Wayne Dyer says in the documentary that I sent, he uses that word to quite simply refer to this concept, edge God out. That the ego edges God out. Now, I wanted to speak a little bit about this to get to the heart of what this topic is about. When we come into being a baby, when we are conceived, we are a composite, a pattern that has an identity. And we'll just refer to it as a name. Right? There's a Kimberly, and there's a Sue, and there's a George. The name gives a distinction between Kimberly and George. And it's incredibly natural to develop a sense of self in this world. These aren't bad things to do this. I want to position this in a broader concept. There's going to be two, but the first is think about when species are coming into existence, or members of species are coming into existence. And then let's just think about humans as a part of this creation. And wherever humanity started, or whenever it started, it was plunged into an experience as a thing in relation to things, right? Quite simply, when we come into this world, we are a thing among many other things. And in that, we discover that this that I am has certain needs, in particular, food and water, things to sustain this thing. And those elements, food and water, we could get broader, but just let me point to that, are outside of the me. So if Kimberly eats an apple, it's outside of her. She is taking this apple, and in relationship to it, she's eating it for the sake of her being alive. So as humanity comes into existence and creation, it's quite natural that these concerns and needs are tended. Shelter would be another, safety would be one. We call them survival needs, and they are highly motivated with the primal brain and survival. So that's very true. But I'd like to cast an additional light on that. They are also fundamental goods of our being here. They carry with them a certain propensity towards trauma. We can, when we go without a need met on the survival level, it can develop into a grasping or a worry or an anxiety towards having that. And that can carry on through all the civilizations and be reinterpreted many ways. An individual who's a billionaire could live a life of high anxiety that they're going to lose everything, that their security is threatened. So we're talking about fundamental propensities of our being. We come into form and we are immediately in relationship. And that relationship has distinctions to it. And we become very unhealthy if we're not able to offer a certain social context for those distinctions. Sufferings that can be caused from that are things like schizophrenia, where the loss of the self is so great that the individual merges with other things as though they're that thing. So this is very fundamental, this sense of identity and self. And it's very natural then that these elemental goods, I'm going to call them, instead of survival needs, so that we move away from this desperate connotation that can be given to the word survival. These elemental goods are part of the joy of our being alive. Think about food. Think about how important food is to us emotionally and culturally and communally. It becomes to represent something so much more. So many elemental goods, the sharing of home, the having a home, the sense of belonging, what it points to. So we come into form and we are automatically in relation. And that relation, I'm going to pose, is actually interconnection. Interconnection, meaning that we are connected to and interconnected with many, many things, past, present, and future. So the coming into form, the becoming a self, becoming a thing, we're a thing, an identity. We come in interconnected. The development of the ego would be a natural way to protect the identity, the self, in a sea of interconnectedness that could be utterly overwhelming. Isn't this intriguing to really reflect deeply upon? And it poses questions. What do I need? What do I need? Well, I would say that there is a need to be aware that you are an interconnected being and that your evolution and your awakening happens in relationship, in interconnectedness. But you do not need to displace your sense of self and make it contingent upon factors outside of you. That's tricky, right? Now, that's quite a paradox. And that's where we get into this ego of edging God out. Now, I'm going to refer very lightly to Wayne Dyer's, but I'm adding a bit more to it. Because think about back when they say the human species first started. So here you've got hunter-gatherers and those taking care of the homestead. And there was a focus on getting the gazelle. There was a focus on the getting. There was a representation of what that meant. There was an esteem built into it. Probably in communities, there was a developed sense of you won an award if you got the biggest gazelle of the season, right? So then you're building in a complex social culture around these elemental goods that are part of what it means to be alive. And within that, we get the slow development of greater and greater division, where the sense of self is easily displaced on what I am and what I have, displaced into that. And then ultimately, and this is where I'm drawing upon Wayne, I'm adding some of his in, he said, and ultimately, you get the greatest untruth, that not only is everything outside of you that is what you need to be whole, but that even God is separate from you. Can you follow that line of logic there? And the ego then builds in a reinforcement of this. Hence why so many people have to go through healing around a God that's up in the clouds. But the mystics and the mystic in you can recognize that there is a transcendence to the infinite that is also immanent. So the invitation then that I have for you today is, where in this moment are you edging God out? That is edging the awareness of God at your center out. And is there something that you can gently choose to allow that to be released. So beautiful, right? So powerful. So we are part of, we are not in a world where there's nature. We are part of nature. We are not just having a relationship. We are in relationship with everything, with the uncreated, with the created, with the self that we identify with. And our development and our liberation happens amidst this interconnectedness, not by denying the interconnectedness. So what I'd like to do is do something that's a little unusual. I'd like to invite us for our practice today to say a prayer of Ignatius of Loyola together. Why? So this prayer is a prayer to a God. It's a prayer to a God. But we have the opportunity to say this prayer to the God center of our being. And we have the opportunity then to shift from where we may edge God out into a new awakening into the God source. Now, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to sing the rendition by the St. Louis Jesuits because it's so beautiful, and I'll put the link in there. But as I'm singing it, I want to invite you to drop in to the presence that you are a point in creation where there's an interconnectedness of past, present, and future happening. You are a sublime occasion for this. Isn't this awesome? Sublime occasion. And during this singing of this song, and maybe if you know it, you can sing along, let yourself relax into that. And then we're going to very slowly pray the prayer together. And again, remember, we're not saying God is separate from us. We are turning to the God center of our being. God center of our being. And the prayer is a beautiful prayer of surrender into the one thing necessary. So I invite you to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, relax wherever you may be sitting. Relax. And as you relax, let the mind and the heart relax into the body. You are here, you, an interconnected being. You are part of a messy, chaotic, confounding, magnificent, beautiful, magnanimous creation. And as you're present to that, let this song let you drop in a little more deeply. Take, Lord, receive all my liberty, my memory, understanding, my entire will. Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me. Your love and your grace. are enough for me. Take, Lord, receive all my life, all I have and possess. Take, Lord, receive all I have and possess. You have given all to me. Now I return it. Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me. Your love and your grace are enough for me. Take, Lord, receive. All is yours now. Dispose of it, wholly according to your will. Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me. Your love and your grace are enough for me. Now let your eyes open just slightly to look downward. Hopefully you have the words of this prayer before you from the newsletter or the newsletter opened. And just between you and the divine center of your being, let these words be prayed. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will, all I have and call my own. You have given all to me. To you, Lord, I return it. Everything is yours. Do with it what you will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me. And let us sit in silence together in the beauty of this prayer. And if you wish, just silently repeat one of the phrases that's most alive for you. Give me only your love and your grace. When you're ready, very gently open your eyes. I bring this reflection to a close with the words of Sonmei 451, the prophetess and pioneer in the amazing movie Cloud Atlas. She says this profound statement: our lives are not our own. From womb to tomb, we are bound to others, past and present. And by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future. Blessings, my friends. Have a great day.